Hi everyone, my name is Britain Cline, Ad Sales Manager, and welcome to this week's edition of Marketing Minutes by Scuba Diving Industry Magazine.
And I'm William Cline, publisher. And if you're a dive company out there and would like to come on this show, reach out to Britain and I. We'd love to have you on the show. So,
That's right.
who do we have today, Britain?
Yes, so today our special guest is Sabatino Bianco, the CEO of Raid International, with us. So, Dino, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today, Dino. Britain, this should be a fascinating show because Raid's really been making a lot of waves in our industry, pun
That's right.
intended, for a long time. And I know that the company's been around for a while, so I'm excited to dig in today's show.
Absolutely. It's going to be an awesome one. But Dino, just to again dive right in, Raid positions itself as for divers and by divers. It emphasizes technology, inclusivity, as well as environmental responsibility as core values. So how do you think these principles shape your business strategy and maybe differentiate you from other training agencies?
Good question.
Absolutely. Well, myself and all the shareholders at Raid International are divers and instructors, instructor trainers. So we actually teach. That makes it in a very unique, position because it's very difficult to run a company if you are not still working in the industry. So we understand issue that today the diving industry has, the instructors, the dive centers. So we position our strategy, our curriculum, and overall our business scheme in a way that can help the diving business globally. So that's the first point, by divers, we dive. Second,
That's good.
technology.
Huge. Yeah.
I have a daughter in college, right? When I went in college, we had books and all these wonderful things. And now it's all online.
Yeah.
There's no more books. So we're gonna, if you want diving to grow for all you are, we gotta bring technology. We gotta bring, simulation. We have online apps looking at nitrox, teaching online and so forth. So we leverage a pivot technology not to subsidize or to change the unique relationship instructor-student, but it's an adjuvant to make their relationship deeper, more knowledgeable, and also to allow the student to have something that as we go forward, they can open the library online and find the latest manual at all time. I might open more manual from the 80s. So if I read those, that be so outdated.
Right.
Our guys always have the newest edition in their library online and no cost.
No, that's amazing. No
incredible.
cost.
Yeah.
So Raid recently launched an independent diver program, which is a solo dive program, which is somewhat controversial, been at least in our industry since it's the number 2 rule in diving, kind of, is
Yeah.
never dive alone, which emphasizes self-rescue, independent diving. What inspired you to create this program, and what kind of reception have you had from the industry?
Absolutely. So we intentionally don't call solo diving because we as an agency stand for actually teamwork, no matter recreational diving, technical diving, teamwork. However, when we are talking to our instructors, our members, there are situations where typical situation, you are in the water with 2 children, your kids, they're 12 and 14 years old. You got to be very able to take care of yourself in a situation where there is a distress. Or if you're an instructor, you're the big guy in the water, but what if you don't feel good? What if you have a problem? So independent diver, it never means to be solo diver. Is additional skill sets for you to be able to be in the water as self-rescue if you are instructors and the student obviously they're barely learning, or if you have children, your kids in the water, how do you deal with situation where you have to rescue yourself, not by bad design, just by the force of nature? So that is the intent of this course. Interesting enough, some people are just doing it. We have had a very well acceptance just to acquire more skills of, as you know, the body is never with you, to be able to take care of yourself before you need to go to your team members. It's additional skill, or to be able to properly and timely handle small emergency before it become a big emergency.
That's
Right. That's
fascinating. You know,
incredible.
one of our writers, Carlos Landers out of Caracas, Venezuela, wrote a book specifically on that topic, and it's quite a fascinating read.
It is.
So that's interesting. It's a very different take when you say independent diver versus solo diving, and I'm not sure that people understand that. That's a brilliant concept because as an
Yeah.
instructor myself, you are kind of alone. You are alone. You're
Mhm.
down there. You're in charge of
Yeah.
everybody, so you got to know how to take care of yourself. Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. So with over 60 fully online programs from introductory snorkeling courses to instructor training as well, how does Dive Raid ensure both high quality learning outcomes and strong student engagement, especially compared to the traditional in-person models like we were chatting about?
Well, that's our crown jewel, if I can say that. We have now, I believe, 120 courses online.
It's incredible.
The things that that's incredible. The things that we differentiate, number one is master your skills. In our standards, we don't ask for the student to reach the standard. You got to master it. You got to be comfortable to perform the skill at all times. As you guys know, we are all about trim buoyancy. Our instructors, they look at, whenever the class is assigned, the student works online on the academics, and the instructor monitor all the quiz, everything. Then anything that the student needs to be explained, or if there is any glitch with some answer, the instructor will personally do a one-to-one classic, academic lessons. Then the final exam is another very important moment. With our unique platform, we have probably a top a backhand platform for the Dive Center instructors. We can monitor how long it takes, how many times they try to the exam, and all the answers. So they really allow us to understand the weakness in that particular student academic knowledge. And we focus on that particular weakness. We all have been in school. If you're good at something, no reason to talk about something you're really good at. We got to work on your where you have a hard time to understand. So that's the academic. Our QA quality. I'm very much vested part is second to none. We have a phenomenal QAs. All the skills that student does in the water, the instructor and the student sign individually all the skills, all the dives individually signed. We got to make sure that at the end of the course, it's not just a formal, it's a very well done process, but every part of their certification, for instance, got to be a picture on the file. They got to be all the skills signed. So we don't want to have the situation where somebody says, but I never really did skill one or skill two. So our quality assurance is absolutely phenomenal. And we have a software with AI that allow the Dive Center and the shop and the student and the instructor to make sure nothing has been missed, like medical forms. If anything has been marked, the AI, the software will tell the instructor, Dive Center, need a physician signature, depending by country by country. So we have a very unique tool that allow the shops to, we have shops in Thailand that do thousands of certifications, yet they feel super comfortable to run a more financially sound program. They don't spend that much time to make sure they are compliant with guidelines and standards ever more stringent in our business.
Totally.
Fascinating.
Wow.
So that's really interesting. I didn't quite understand that. And I'd had many conversations with Al and Terry when I was on that trip about RAID, and I don't think they articulated it as well, certainly as you just did, some of those
Certainly.
big benefits. So our primary audience for this show, in fact, for our magazine and everything we do, is the dive industry itself, primarily retailers. What would you say to a retailer out there that's watching the show as to why they should either offer RAID training in place of their current agency or in addition to? Because a lot of shops
Yes.
offer 5 or 6 different agencies depending upon the type of courses that they like to
Sure.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, we do allow multiple agents. We don't believe in, we believe that dive shop and the instructor pick the agency or agencies they work with independently. So we don't require any, exclusivity. We have many reasons. Let me start the first one. We have been all dive shop owners, and one thing that every year you got to pay the dues, both as a shop and as an instructor. And that's a unique in our industry because most of the industry, if you're busy, the provider, they will give you some gift, perks. So we decided 3 years ago to be completely innovative. we have a zero free membership. As long as the instructor teaches 5 courses, five, or the shop purchase 5 credits, that's free. So no matter if you have a big shop that does 5,000 certs, no matter if you do 5 certs, we don't charge you a dime because we believe that that's a tax. Well, you work with us, you are our member. We got to take care of you, serve you. So that's the first one financially in a time where diving, it's now, we'll, trying to do our best to make the industry to grow. We have no tax. Second, no inventory. Everything is online. So person can buy if they need one certification or 100 or 1,000. So we don't have inventory, we don't have stocks, we don't have books sitting on the shelf where if we need to change a standard, if we need to change something, we don't have to worry about the backlash of many books out there. Then now there people are upset they have a book which is outdated. We change online and immediately everything is changed. Old people, new people, ongoing courses. So we have the freedom to constantly update our material to the best without having any problem with something that create inventory sitting down. Then we say we are a family, right? Our customer service, our line of communication with all the VP, all the training manager, all the regional office is open and very quick. We pride ourselves 24-hour maximum before somebody will talk to you about questions you have or solving problems based on the nature of your particular situation. So we very, very, very customer oriented. As is more like you said, we are not the biggest, we are not the oldest agency, but we surely have a fairly aggressive marketing campaign, and we are growing quite in a rapid way right now globally.
So let's talk about to the PADI, SSI, NAUI instructors, SEI instructors out there. What's your crossover program like? Say one of them wants to try the RAID program. How does that
Great
work?
question. Yeah.
So we do the crossover in 3 different blocks, depending on your particular instructor level. We have a recreational crossover, then it's a technical, and it's a CCR. So if you are, for instance, a CCR instructor, we don't believe in you teach, only one thing. So you may teach only one particular thing. So you got to do the recreational part of it, single tank, we're going to water. You got to do a online, very small crossover. We know you're an instructor. We don't have to make you an instructor. Just we teach you some of the things we do different. We do some different skills. Long hose, for example, we primary source of air. We never have the student without gas. So we remove it and we switch to octo immediately. And then you can search your regulator. So what we have done, we have taken all the things we learned in technical diving, cave diving, that we apply in recreational diving. Snorkel, you got to have it. You got to do some skill with it, but you do not have to have the snorkel on your mask as you do regular diving because they see us diving caves or technical. We don't have it. So we got to talk to those instructors the few difference we have academically. Then in the water, recreational is same thing, right? Make sure that they know how to teach RAID courses. The way we supervise, we do trim and buoyancy day 1. We do frog kicking day 1. So we want for those divers, no matter if they became open water or technical cave, to be able to do those dive comfortably. We don't believe in cutting corners that you finish a class that you got to hire a dive master to do the class with you. If you are a open water diver RAID, you will be able to beautifully enjoy whale sharks, fish, the things that we love, and not to struggle. So the crossover is academic, which is a small crossover course, and then in the water based on your level. If it's just recreational, one session or maybe hour and a half. If you're a technical, we go in single tank, get out, get back in, twin set, get out. CCR, third set with the CCR.
Interesting. So, you mentioned the roots in the technical diving community and how there are so many valuable lessons that could be applied. Years ago, I had been an instructor, was very active in South Florida, and one of our staff was a cave instructor, and a guy named Harry Averill is still around in Central Florida. And he said, would you be interested in taking a cavern course? And I said, yeah, but what do you really learn in a cavern course? I mean, come on. I'm an instructor, I got thousands of dives already. He says, I guarantee you'll lose 3 to 5 pounds of weight off your weight belt. This is back when we had belts. And I said, Harry, I dive every day with students. I know my weight. Sure enough, Sure enough. I mean, just it was amazing skill set, and I really became a much better diver going through that course. And here I was an instructor even. So there is a lot of lessons learned from the technical world. So
Totally.
thank you again, Dino, for being on our show. Britain, how will be that? 85 days to DEMA now?
About 85 days till the show.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
and we're getting
And
closer.
at the show, we're going to have our mini studio set up in our booth. And so maybe we'll come try to drag you down for a
That's
quick
right.
interview if you have time. So I'll make that an offer right now on the show. Britton, who do we got lined up for our next marketing minutes?
Yes. So on our next marketing minutes, our guest is going to be our own writer, Catherine Castle. We're very, very excited to have her, owner of Clear Story Coach and co-owner of C2C, an underwater video production company. She's a great friend of ours again, so stay tuned for that. It should be a fantastic interview.
Yeah, it's gonna be great because she's over in the Azores Islands, so that's gonna be
That's right.
cool off Portugal.
That's right.
So we have a second series that we launched last month, actually, a third series, I should say. It's called Level Up from Behind the Counter. And who's our next guest on that?
Yes, we're going to have Michael Connors and Rachel Scott, new owners of American Dive Zone in the Grand Rapids. So stay tuned for that. They're going to be talking about their experiences in buying a dive shop. So that'll be a cool twist.
Yeah, fascinating story with this couple, Dino. We were at the booth at DEMA and they walked up and said, we get your magazine, but could you change the name? We bought the shop. We're like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. What's your information? And so I said, well, how'd you buy the shop? She says, well, my husband was, or her fiance was a mergers and acquisition guy in New York City, and she was a marketing executive, and they wanted to be closer. He wanted to be closer to his family, and we're divers. So we thought this might be
Why
fun to own
not?
a dive shop. So they quit their jobs and bought a dive shop in Grand Rapids,
Awesome.
Michigan, and
That's
they're
awesome.
writing.
We love it, you know?
They're writing a series. They just started their first issue in the July issue. They're going to be writing it every single month from. It's actually called From Behind the Counter, and they're talking about their experience of what it was like to buy a shop, change it over, run it, and all that. So anyhow, it's going to be a great
Yeah,
interview.
really, really cool perspective.
So Dino, thanks for being on our show. Any last words you have?
Thank you very much for your time and looking forward to see you guys at DEMA.
That sounds great. Thank you again, and till next time.
We'll see you at DEMA.